Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Ouija. If you didn't see my last video, please go watch my last video. But anyways, you saw that title. We got some controllers. Got ourselves a Pro controller and ourselves some Joy-Cons. I got this Pro controller a little while ago, and I got these Joy-Cons today. So yeah. Originally, I wasn't going to make a video on just the Pro controller, but when not everybody, unboxes a box of Joy-Cons, so I thought that would be neat to, since I had the Joy-Cons, that I might as well do a video on these. So let's go ahead and open the box of the Pro controllers. So yeah, actually, at first I was going to just scrape at the box until I was able to get the what is that? Oh yeah, it had like that tape, that new kind of tape that legit everything has on it. So yeah, that's the power cable. I'll tell a little story about my original Pro controller power cable, but yeah. And let's open this and show the new controller. Oh man. So this is what a new Pro controller looks like. I haven't seen a new Pro controller in 3 years, or 2 to 3 years, bro. And those thumbsticks. Those thumbsticks feel beautiful, man, I must say. So, alright, on to the Joy-Cons now. The Joy-Cons come in a very small little box. So yeah, you can see that in the box. Now let's open that up. Yeah, obviously there's not going to be too much in here because it's just two little controllers, and yeah, boom, red Joy-Con, the strap, and the blue Joy-Con. So yeah, pretty cool. And I guess now that I've opened this, I'll talk about some stories. So yeah, I've had the Nintendo Switch for 3 years, and for those 3 years, I've had the same Joy-Con, and I don't know exactly at which point I got the Pro controller, but I do know I was still playing Breath of the Wild when I got my Pro controller, so I do know that I've at least had it for 2 years. If I didn't have it for full 3 years, I know I have at least had it for 2 years. So yeah, basically, now let me talk about the charger. The charger for the Pro controller. Like a very long time ago, back in middle school, I brung my Pro controller charger to school because it was a USB-C type, so it worked with, my phone. So I remember one day I brung it to school and I lost my controller charger, and I was devastated because, that was my first Pro controller. That was my first Pro controller, So I was like really sad, That was my first Pro controller. That was my first charger from it, that's how, if you didn't know how I feel about, the first of something that I owned, my first Pro controller meant a lot to me, and that was my first ever charger for it. So I was kind of sad about that. And the next day I came to school. I was like, oh hey, didn't I see my charger on the table as I was like leaving out to the bus, which is what happened. I left out to the bus, and I remember I left my charger there. It somehow got to like the front of like the school or something like that. So I was like walking up there. But like the next day at school, and I was like, hey, I like lost my charger. Have you seen it? And then they're like, no, we haven't. And to make a long story short, I went around the school, all kinds of principals in like the lost and found, trying to find my Nintendo Switch charger, but someone went ahead and copped my Nintendo Switch Pro controller charger because I never found that thing. I went to like the highest powers in that school, and I just could not get my Pro controller charger back, man. So that was really sad. That's like the only thing that I still have in that middle school that I'm never gonna get back is my Pro controller charger, man. So very sad, man. But yeah, so but yeah, from the reason why I got a Pro controller, a new one, is because my old Pro controller, the moving stick, that still works. That also has drift. So yeah, that also one thing. My old Pro controller had drift on it, so I'm getting this new controller because hey, no more drift. Also, the camera stick broke on it. That's broken. You know, wear and tear and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I dropped it a couple times over the years, but all I can say is I had it for 3 years, bro, and eventually the camera control broke and whatnot, and yeah. So yeah, that's why I got a new Pro controller, because I need a new Pro controller. That's like the best thing for Nintendo. And I also use my Pro controller a lot on my PC for like using controller. For, like, it's a really good PC controller, okay? And yeah, so the Joy-Cons, as I said, I've had my Joy-Cons ever since I got my Switch, and basically after a long time, like a crack started to form on like the very top of my like red Joy-Con, like a crack was just forming on it, and after a long time of using it, the crack got really bad, basically, and my red Joy-Con basically broke. I'm not sure what happened to it, but there just became a point where when I would try to charge my Pro controller, the little clip on it, it just wouldn't charge. Like, somebody say, well, what if you think? But no, just, I knew good well that it wasn't the side of it, because I know it wasn't like the charging side of my Joy-Con of the red part, no. It just flat out was just that the slide-on wasn't working, because I noticed there became a point in time where the slide part on the red one would work, and like I would just like flip around and like get the blue one and like put it on backwards, and that one would like slide in perfectly, but the red one though, it was broken. So yeah, my red controller, eventually that one kicked out and I couldn't use it anymore. But yeah, I'm not just getting a new set of Joy-Cons just because of a new set of Joy-Cons. Well, I guess I am, because, well, my Switch basically just became a tablet at some point, because I couldn't play it like in handheld mode anymore because I didn't have any Joy-Cons anymore. And the main feature, two people can play the game together, I couldn't even do that anymore because I only had my blue Joy-Con left. The blue Joy-Con still works, but my blue Joy-Con has so much drift that it's basically broken anyways. It's just like the red controller. The red controller just flat out doesn't work, but the blue controller has just terrible drift on it, so I wouldn't use it either way, so yeah. But besides that, if you know Skyward Sword, the Wii port, the $60 Wii port, yeah, that game and Super Mario Galaxy from the 3D collection, I wanted new Joy-Cons specifically for those two games, because I felt as though it would be really weird to play those games with like a Pro controller, because those games were basically built on the at least the Joy-Cons are the closest thing that you can get to a Wii remote, so I felt like it would be really weird to use a Pro controller for those games. So I was like, okay, when I do finally play those games, I'll get them when I get a new set of Joy-Cons, because I knew at some point I was just going to be tired of not having any Joy-Cons, so I decided, okay, well, I guess I'll just wait to play those games until I get some new Joy-Cons. So, hey, cool, I can now play those games again. I can also have my Switch become a Switch again. My Switch is basically just a tablet. So yeah, it feels great to finally get some new controllers. And yeah, that's basically it. This video didn't have to be 8 minutes long, but I had to tell you the story of all this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Nintendo Switch Pro controller showing off, I guess. I don't know, review. I don't even know what this is, man, but I hope you enjoyed whatever this thing is, and I hope you enjoyed it, and will watch my next video. So yeah, until then, goodbye.